What if one of the oldest monster legends in South America was never a myth at all? What if deep beneath the black waters of Lake Tota, something ancient is still alive? For centuries, locals around Lake Tota in Colombia have whispered about a giant serpent-like creature said to live beneath the surface, a creature so terrifying that indigenous tribes once feared the lake itself. And here's the part that makes the story impossible to ignore. Some historians claim early Spanish explorers documented stories of a massive beast rising from the water long before modern monster legends even existed. Not a ghost, not a spirit, something physical, something alive. And the deeper you go into this story, the stranger it gets. Because people still report seeing unexplained movement in the lake today. Dark shapes, massive ripples, strange sounds beneath the water. So tonight, we're diving deep into one of the most terrifying and overlooked cryptid legends in the world, the Monster of Lake Tota. And by the end of this video, you might question whether the lake is hiding something real. Lake Tota sits high in the Colombian Andes, cold, massive, silent. At first glance, it looks peaceful, blue water stretching endlessly beneath fog-covered mountains, winds brushing across the surface, fishing boats drifting quietly in the distance. But locals will tell you something unsettling. The lake feels heavy, like something beneath the surface is watching. Long before modern tourism, the indigenous Muisca people spoke of a monstrous serpent creature connected to the lake. According to legend, the creature lived deep beneath the water and represented chaos, darkness, and destruction. Some versions of the story describe it as enormous. Others say it moved silently beneath the surface before appearing without warning. And according to ancient accounts, rituals were once performed near the lake to drive the creature away. Think about that. Entire communities feared something in the water enough to create ceremonies around it. Why? What did they see? Fact: Lake Tota is the largest lake in Colombia. Fact: the lake has been tied to serpent legends for centuries. Fact: some historical writings mention mysterious creatures associated with the region. And while skeptics dismiss the legend as folklore, the descriptions are disturbingly consistent. A giant shape, dark movement beneath the water, something impossibly large. But the real fear comes from one chilling detail repeated across multiple stories. People often describe the lake becoming unnaturally silent before sightings occur. No birds, no wind, no movement, just stillness, as if the lake itself knows something is coming. A few years ago, my friends and I visited Lake Tota after hearing stories online about the legend. Honestly, we thought it would be fun, a creepy story, a midnight boat ride, something to laugh about afterward. At first, everything felt normal. The water reflected the moonlight like glass. Cold air drifted across the lake. We joked around while filming videos on our phones. One of my friends even shouted into the darkness, "Come out, monster." We all laughed. But then something changed. The wind stopped, completely, and I still remember the exact feeling that hit me in that moment. It felt wrong, like every instinct in my body suddenly started screaming. The water around the boat became perfectly still. Not calm, still. And then we heard it, a low sound beneath us, not a splash, not a fish, a deep dragging noise, like something massive moving slowly underwater. My friend stopped recording. Nobody spoke. Then the side of the boat shifted, just slightly, but enough for everyone to notice. And that's when we saw it. About 20 feet away from us, a long shape moved beneath the surface, dark, slow, massive. At first, I thought it was a shadow, but shadows don't create waves. The water above it bulged upward as it moved, like something enormous was gliding directly under us. The moonlight barely touched it, but I could see enough to know one thing: whatever it was far too large to be a fish. One of my friends whispered, "Tell me you see that." Nobody answered, because we all did. And then the shape disappeared. No splash, no sound, just gone. But the worst part, seconds later, the boat rocked again, this time from underneath. What makes the Monster of Lake Tota so terrifying isn't just the possibility that it exists, it's the uncertainty, because humans fear what they can't explain, especially underwater. Think about it. At night, lakes become black mirrors. You can't see below you. You don't know what's moving beneath the surface, and your imagination starts filling the darkness with possibilities. Now combine that with centuries of legends, stories passed down across generations. Witness reports, unexplained sightings. Suddenly the myth stops feeling impossible, and Lake Tota itself adds to the fear. The lake is deep, cold, often covered in fog. Underwater visibility is extremely limited, meaning if something large did exist beneath the surface, most people would never see it clearly. That's what kept replaying in my mind after that night. Not what we saw, but what we didn't, because the shape beneath us disappeared too quickly. And ever since that trip, I keep wondering, what if it stayed beneath the boat the entire time, watching, following, waiting? Some researchers believe monster legends are exaggerated encounters with real animals. Others think cryptid stories are psychological responses to fear and isolation. But then there are the eyewitness accounts, people who swear they saw something impossible. And the terrifying thing about eyewitness stories is this: not everyone can be lying. Even today, stories about the Monster of Lake Tota continue. Tourists report strange movement in the water. Fishermen describe unexplained disturbances. Locals still warn visitors not to disrespect the lake, and maybe that's because legends survive for a reason. Sometimes myths are invented, but sometimes they come from something real people experienced, something they couldn't explain. That's why the story of Lake Tota continues to spread, because deep down, people want to believe there are still mysteries left in the world, creatures hidden beyond what we understand. And honestly, after that night on the lake, I'm not sure what I believe anymore. All I know is this: when the water went silent, when the shape appeared beneath our boat, when the lake moved under us, it didn't feel like a story. It felt like a warning. So now I want to ask you something. What if the Monster of Lake Tota is still out there, hidden beneath the dark water, waiting for the next person brave enough to look? And if you were alone on that lake at night, would you stay in the boat? Or would you leave before the water moved beneath you? And here's the real challenge. Comment below if you've ever experienced something unexplained near water, deep woods, or somewhere you felt truly watched. Do you believe monster legends are just stories? Or do you think some myths exist because someone saw something real? Because after researching this legend, and after what happened on that lake, I'm starting to think we haven't discovered everything hiding in the dark yet.